Orange 1. Americans often shake hands. They shake hands when they meet someone new. They also greet old friends that way. Job interviews begin and end with a handshake. So do many social situations. You should always shake hands firmly. This shows you have self-confidence. To some people, a limp handshake sometimes indicates a weak character. End of Orange 1.
Orange 2. The fourth Thursday of November is Thanksgiving in America. This is a historical holiday. Many of the early American settlers starved to death or died from the severe winter. After the first crops were harvested, the survivors were very grateful. They held a feast and thanked God for their lives. Modern Americans still celebrate this holiday. The whole family gathers together for a huge turkey dinner and gives thanks for their health and their prosperity. End of Orange 2.
Orange 3. Daily bathing may be bad for your health. Many experts now think so. Valuable oils are washed from the skin during a bath. The skin needs these oils for protection. Wind, dirt, and sun can harm dry skin. People bathe every day in Japan as well as in many other countries. Maybe the daily bath will have to go. End of Orange 3.
Orange number 4. 150 years ago, there was no trash collection service in New York City. Instead, pigs wandered freely in the streets. People threw their garbage out into the streets, and the pigs ate it. But this system was both unhealthy and dangerous, because the pigs sometimes attacked people. So, the city government began garbage collection. End of Orange number 4.
Orange 5. Cars are a way of life in America. Most businesses provide special customer parking lots, and nowadays almost all towns and cities have shopping centers with huge parking areas. For over 20 years, drive-in movies and restaurants have been very popular. There are a lot of drive-in laundries and banks, too. And in California, there are even drive-in churches. End of Orange 5.
Orange 6. Are you superstitious? Then you might want to know about these American and European superstitions. A black cat mustn't walk in front of you. That brings bad luck. Don't walk under a ladder either. That can also cause bad fortune. Be careful with your mirror. A broken mirror will give you 7 years of trouble. Are you looking for good luck? You can carry a rabbit's foot or a 4-leaf clover. They supposedly can do the trick. End of Orange 6.
Orange 7. The English names for months come mostly from Latin. January is named after Janus, the Roman god of the new year. He was pictured with 2 faces. One looked back to the old year, one looked forward to the new. March is named after Mars, the god of war. June comes from Juno, the goddess of marriage, so June is traditionally a lucky time for weddings. End of Orange 7. Orange 8.
Are you interested in trivia? Some people collect little-known facts, like others collect stamps. If you're interested, here are some tidbits to add to your collection. Where do people read the greatest number of newspapers? Some people might say Japan, but that's not the answer. It's Sweden. How about movies? Can you guess who watches them the most? The Americans? The French? No, it's the Egyptians. Now think about calories. Which people do you think consume the most calories per year? Many people would guess it's the Americans, but the answer is the Irish. End of Yellow 7.
Orange 9. We used to think that Columbus was the first white man to see America. Now we know that he wasn't. In the year 1000, a Viking ship landed on the American coast. It was the ship of a bold Norwegian warrior named Leif Erikson. Because he found such fine, juicy, wild grapes, he called this new land Vinland. The Vikings wanted to stay there, but they were driven away by the Indians. 500 years after this, Columbus discovered America again. End of Orange 9. Orange 10. For American school children, the beginning of June means summer vacation. 3 months of lazy days and warm evenings, of freedom from classrooms and homework. During the daytime, kids head for the swimming pool or the beach. Roller skates, bicycles, and jump ropes all get lots of use. Evenings, the neighborhood gang gets together for street games or ice cream. The 4th of July fireworks are often the high point of the summer. From June through August, everyone has a ball. End of Orange 10.
Yellow 1. A chicken farmer in Cornwall, England, has developed a unique method of fighting pollution. He wanted to drive a car which didn't emit any harmful exhaust fumes, so he tinkered with the engine of his old car and converted it from using gasoline to using a cheaper, more natural product. Now his car burns chicken droppings and gives off only water and carbon dioxide. Best of all, he has an inexhaustible fuel supply. End of Yellow 1. Yellow 2. Buckminster Fuller is one of the greatest architect-engineers who ever lived. His designs are not only functional and ingenious, but also beautiful. Someone once asked him if he consciously considered aesthetics when he was working on a solution to a technical problem. Fuller replied, "No. When I'm working on a problem, I never think about beauty. I think only of how to solve the problem. When I have finished, however, if the solution is not beautiful, I know it is wrong." End of Yellow 2.
Yellow 3. Different cultures have different ideas of time. In Iran, people often ignore appointments. In Italy, even trains run considerably behind schedule. South Americans are notoriously indifferent to deadlines. Filipinos usually arrive at parties an hour or so late. These people are all relatively unconcerned about time. Americans, on the other hand, consider time vitally important. Tardiness is often taken as an insult. Time is almost something tangible. Americans talk about gaining time, losing time, saving time, killing time, wasting time, and even making up time. Many experts feel this compulsion about time is what gives so many Americans ulcers. End of Yellow 3.
Yellow 4. Do you think cars benefit society? Many say no. There are a lot of reasons for this. Cars have choked up most cities. Your car can be stuck for an hour in a traffic jam. Then you have to find a parking place. This is impossible in some cities. Of course, trains and subways are faster and easier than cars. In America, however, public transportation is almost dead. It can't compete with cars. End of Yellow 4.
Yellow 5. Streets in central Paris are very narrow. Traffic conditions are so terrible that fire engines cannot get through. Buildings often used to burn to the ground before the firemen could arrive. In trying to solve this dangerous problem, French fire officials have hit upon a clever idea. A group of firemen have been specially trained to ride motorcycles carrying small extinguishers. When traffic gets jammed and no one can move, these men simply drive their cycles right onto the sidewalks. They zoom past the stopped cars, rush to the scene of the fire, and do whatever they can to control the blaze until the big engines can make it. End of Yellow 5.
Yellow 6.
Oil spills spoil beaches and pollute water in a lot of places. This doesn't happen anymore in Sweden. The Swedes have invented a wonderful device. It's a long plastic tube with holes in it. They drop it under the water across the mouths of harbors. After an oil spill, they pump air into the tube. Huge bubbles come up from the holes. The bubbles keep the oil away from the shore. It all floats in one area. From there it is easily cleaned up. End of Orange 2.
Yellow 7.
At least 25% of American couples get divorced. Sociologists list many reasons. People often marry too young. Many seriously disagree about money. Mothers-in-law often cause marriage problems. Many couples can't adjust to parenthood, and others break up because of sexual unhappiness. Children of divorced parents usually live with their mothers and rarely see their fathers. They are often unhappy and confused. A very high percentage of these children eventually have bad marriages themselves. End of Orange 8. Yellow 8. April Fool's Day is an old holiday, but no one knows exactly when or where it began. The ancient Romans celebrated a Feast of Fools about the 1st of April. So did the Hindus. Today, it's celebrated in North America with dozens of little practical jokes. Some favorite tricks are putting salt in the sugar bowl or saying with a straight face that someone has a bug on his clothes. So, when April 1st rolls around, watch out, or someone might fool you. End of Yellow 8.
Yellow 9. Have you ever seen the Aurora Borealis or Northern Lights? They can occur at any time of year and at any time of night. They seem to be related to sunspot activity, but scientists are not sure just how. Some experts suggest they operate as natural neon lights. We usually see them in the northern sky, but at times they have appeared as far south as Guam. They appear as pale curtains, arches, or as streamers of light waving gently across the night sky. End of Yellow 9.
Yellow 10. Nothing is more American than apple pie, but what could be more Canadian than pemmican? What on earth is pemmican? Well, pemmican is a Canadian food made of buffalo meat, venison, molasses, flour, and suet. Making it is very simple. First you kill a deer and a buffalo. Then dry their meat and cut it into strips. After that you pound it to a powder and mix it with thick black molasses, coarse flour, and suet. When it's well mixed, stuff it into a hide bag and keep it for a few years. Eat it when you're starving to death. End of Yellow 10. Purple 1. An American drugstore is an amazing place. Of course you can buy medicine there, but that's just the beginning. There are lots of racks of paperbacks and magazines and a wide variety of candy and cigarettes. You can go to a drugstore for stationery, school supplies, stockings, alarm clocks, and flower seeds. If you need shampoo, bug spray, kite string, or costume jewelry, a drugstore is a good place to look. You can also stop for a snack or a soda at the fountain there. Are you looking for a special card or a cute gift to help your love life? By all means, try the drugstore first. End of Purple 1.
Purple 2. Out of a melting pot of nationalities has come a truly American form of music, jazz. It started with Negro folk music, spirituals, and work songs. These slowly developed until 1917, when there was a great jazz explosion known as the Jazz Age. Hot jazz suited the temper of those times and was exported to every part of the world. More recently, the trend has been toward a more sophisticated kind of music, in which classically trained musicians apply modern ideas to jazz. End of Purple 2.
Purple 3. Square dancing was and continues to be a favorite pastime in the rural areas of America. Among country folk, square dancing plays an important social role in providing a chance for communal activity for those living in isolated regions. In many places, square dancing is directly tied up with the seasons. In some areas, people can't get together during the snowbound winter months, so dances are held regularly once or twice a week in the summer. In areas where farm work must come before everything else in the planting and harvesting seasons, the dances are held in the winter. End Purple 3.
Parents found them in a basket outside the door. End of Purple 3.
Purple 4. Some parents are embarrassed to talk about sex with their children. Others feel that only older children can understand such things. For whatever reason, many legends have grown up concerning childbirth. When toddlers ask, "Mommy, where did I come from?" some mothers answer, "I found you under a leaf in a cabbage patch." Other children are told that their parents found them in a basket outside the door. Still other parents tell their youngsters that babies are delivered by a stork. Supposedly, the stork flies through the air carrying a baby in a bundle in his beak. He lands on the roof of a house and delivers the precious package through the chimney. End of Purple 4.
Purple 5. The Koreans have an interesting folktale about what causes earthquakes. Long ago, the story goes, the floor of heaven began to sag. The king of heaven was very upset. He immediately had a huge copper pillar made and put on earth to bolster the sagging floor. But the pillar sank deep into the soft earth and was of no use. The king then sent his strongest subject to earth to support the pillar on his shoulder. Now heaven was safe so long as this man didn't let go. He is still holding the pillar, they say. Occasionally, he has to shift the enormous weight from one shoulder to the other. When he does, the earth trembles, and that is what makes earthquakes. End of Purple 5.
Purple 6. In Paris in 1839, a man named Daguerre announced to the public an unprecedented invention. It was a photograph. He had succeeded in freezing an image on a copper plate. To the people of that day, Daguerre's invention seemed like a miracle. News of it spread through Europe like wildfire. Within months, as daguerreotype studios blossomed throughout Europe, news of the new invention spread to America. For about 10 years, daguerreotypes were extremely popular, but by 1850 they had been replaced by paper photographs much like those of today. Even today, though, when we look at the fine details preserved in these lovely silver images, we can understand a little of the wonder of these first photographs. End of Purple 6.
Purple 7. North American folklore is full of tales about Paul Bunyan, the mightiest lumberjack that ever lived. But, mighty as he was, he couldn't have done half the things he did without Babe, his big blue ox. Babe was huge. He ate so much hay that they say it kept 4 men busy all day, every day, just cutting it. According to another story, a crow once tried to fly from the tip of one of Babe's horns to the tip of the other in the dead of winter. It got lost and didn't arrive until the spring thaw. Babe wasn't always blue. He was born white. But winters are so cold in the north woods that he turned blue standing out in the field and never got white again, even when summer came. End of Purple 7. Purple 8. Are Americans getting less honest as time goes on? Apparently so, if you agree with the interpretation of a test run by the editors of Liberty magazine. In 1924, they sent 100 letters to people selected at random from all across the country. They enclosed a dollar bill and explained it was a refund to adjust an accounting error the addressee had complained of. In actual fact, none of the people who received the letters really had an account with the magazine. 27 of the 100 people returned the dollar, saying a mistake had been made. 47 years later, in 1971, Liberty repeated the test. This time, only 13 returned the money. End of Purple 8. Purple 9. In not too many years, the Earth will be vastly overpopulated. Can science save us by finding a way to live in space? Let's ignore the problems of transportation and the probability that the planets are uninhabitable. It still would take only 50 years to make Venus, Mercury, Mars, and the moons of Earth, Jupiter, and Saturn as overpopulated as the Earth. Even in space travel, population control will be absolutely necessary. Since it will take generations to reach other star systems, strict birth control will have to be practiced. Can you imagine a population explosion in a spaceship? End of Purple 9. Purple 10. In a growing number of American cities, female policemen are now doing many jobs which were once reserved for males because they were thought to be too dangerous for women. Most of the work policemen do consists of answering routine service calls, and police women often handle these better than men. For example, neighbors may call the police if a family is having a noisy domestic fight. A lady officer answering such a call is often more effective than a man. For one thing, the angry, aggressive husband often becomes quieter and calmer when a woman appears. In addition, while male cops are usually interested mainly in stopping the fight, women more often try to find its underlying causes. Thus, they may find more satisfactory and permanent solutions than their male counterparts can. End of Purple 10.